can see, dinner is being served. So stay in your place and they'll bring you a plate with something on it. These three ladies standing with me are eye candy for you to look at while I'm talking to you for a couple of minutes. I hope you don't mind. Somebody asked about the magazine. This happens frequently, as a matter of fact. They said, when is the next magazine coming out? Well, here's what it looks like. It's got a picture of the 52 Speedster from Ed Macaulay on the cover. And there's a nice story inside about it. It is in the mail right now on its way to your mailbox, so watch for it. One other thing is in the envelope with the magazine. It's a membership renewal form in case you have not renewed for 2018. Right. And if you have, thank you very much. We'll be back to you in a year. Meanwhile, there are copies of this on the table over here by the 1903 Packard. Candace Todd and Karen Hulsman are not just pretty ladies, right? They're on the committee that helped put together this program. And it's their idea for the centerpieces that you've got there on the table. And those are there for you to bid on for the automobiles that are in the centerpieces. And you can go to any table, it doesn't have to be your own. You can go to any table and you can write down for the silent auction your bid for that vehicle. Please, nothing like $1 million, all right? The museum cannot cope with that. So keep it reasonable. Put down what you think you can afford within the next 3 or 4 months, and you'll be okay.
How's everybody doing tonight? Great. I'm first, huh? I thought I was going to get to tag team with Aaron Weiss, but I guess they didn't want us up here together, too much trouble. So I was fortunate enough today to be a judge. How cool was that? And just so you know, if you had a car being judged, you got really good scores from me. Nobody has any right reason to be angry with me. Anyways, I just want to talk for a second. I'm so thankful to Packards International and all of you at Packards, Robert Escalante, Tom Shield, all you guys who are such amazing support to my Benedict Castle Concours. It is, like Tom said, taking place on April 22nd, and that's a Sunday, and we are looking forward to another great year. I do this show 100% for the benefit of Teen Challenge, and if you don't know what Teen Challenge is, you need to learn about it. It is a 1-year, absolutely free drug and alcohol recovery program that has an 86% success rate documented by the United States government 5 years after completion. There's nothing else like it. Your general programs that are through hospitals and through the government have a 3 to 7% success rate documented. So there's a reason I do this for my life. I worked for my family business, McGuire's, for 18 years. I love that. But now I just want to do something that gives back to an incredible program that is rescuing lives every day out of addiction. And I'm so thankful to be working for them. But the show, and thank you for giving me a couple minutes to talk, this show is different from any other show that you've been a part of if you haven't been to the castle. It is a real castle in Riverside, California. Over 100 movies were filmed there. We have 300 cars from every genre. We have classics like your cars here, and we have hot rods and muscle cars and lowriders and trucks and Japanese classics and customs. It's just a fabulous event in a fabulous venue, and 100% every dollar goes to Teen Challenge. We raised $300,000 last year that one day for Teen Challenge. We're making a difference in lives, and I know it's God ordained, and I love it. I love working for God as my boss, and I love working with car guys. If you know anything about my dad, Barry McGuire, you know he loves car guys and he loves the car world. He's instilled that same love in me, and just love what I do. And I must say thank you to Aaron Weiss, who taught me how to do a concours. I was putting on a car show in Covina, and I was raising about $8,700 a year, and the city was taking $6,000 of the dollars. By the way, don't put on a car show in Covina. He sat down with me for about 3 hours at my parents' Christmas party and taught me how to do it right. He was making $200,000 for his charities by his 3rd year, and I kind of like knee him and joke with him. On my 3rd year, we made $300,000. So I'm his.
Got Judge waiting for the hardware. So let's give a big hand to everybody who worked hard today on that. Okay. 8th Annual San Marino Motor Classic coming up June 10th. I beat the hell out of all of you. I doubt that there's anybody in this room I have not personally run your neck and said be there. So I have applications, and I'll take care of you. I'll take your money. So will Nicole. I have taught her to take no prisoners. And it's a great show out there, and you got to do both. Okay? You know, your car guys, car girls, and you can't stay away from an opportunity to show your car. And so I can't give you a 2-for-1 deal because the two of us are too greedy to give up any money. But I go out to, I've been going to your show 5 years now, and unfortunately, guys, I ran out of Packards. I got to take a Rolls this year. Excuse me, but let's all come out. You got to support all these shows. I got to say that I got an email on Thursday that Greystone was dead, and when you think about how delicate these shows are, I can tell you that Benedict Castle would, you know, Nicole decided to move to Paris or something, that'd be the end of that. And should something happen to me, it's possible. And so these shows are very, very delicate, and to have them and to get guys to come out and to perpetuate our hobby, it's really important that we have these shows too. Because you got to think about, we're not getting younger, and we need somebody to eventually buy these cars from our wives when we're gone. So, this is true. I had a joke for tonight, you know, like last night, but Nicole told me that she would have nothing to do with me if I told it. Oh. So I'm sorry, but I will if you corner me, I'll entertain you. But actually, this is true. I mean, we need to get our cars out there. We need to make people aware that they exist, and to give them value, to maintain the interest. And I think it's really great that you would come to either Benedict Castle, no, not either. You would come to both, and just come out for the day.
Well, thank you, Don. I feel really honored to have a part in this for Bill Hirsch. I've never met him, but I was really looking forward to meeting him here at this meeting. I've had many discussions with him over several kinds of auto parts, and he's a true hero, as you were saying. You did put me in 4th position behind all the power that was up here, and when you're in an auction, you always want to be right next to the big money. So I'm proud to comment on Bill Hirsch, who, if you don't know, is as Don said, a very preeminent person in the hobby, manufacturing many parts for us. The Packards International hierarchy assumed that there is a symbiosis of if two people are about the same age that they share something. I'm not sure how that works because I'm nowhere near the age of Bill Hirsch. Let me just tell you something. He has lived in 10 decades. Now think about it. He's not 100 and he's not 90. So if you Google and do the math, you'll find out that he's, I think, around 88. But I want to quote from Don Hall, our prescient gentleman here. In a recent magazine put out by PI, Here's what he says. This is the lead-in paragraph, and this is why we know that Bill was going to be a successful entrepreneur. Quoting Young, he says, Bill started life as a child. Well, I think I'll leave. That's all you need to know. Well, it turns out that Bill has been in this business around 40, 45 years. And he started out as a restorer of cars.
Well, I won't take too much of your time, but I do want to just pay some special accolades to a lot of the folks who have come from a long way. We have a lot of international travelers. We have a lot of folks, Desi, Donna from Illinois, and I'll miss some of you, Robert from New York. We're having, what's his name, Gergen from Armenia. This last month and a half, we've joined over 22 new members to Packards International, and which is a testament to all of you who have worked hard. I mean, you've got testimonials from Aaron, and you've got it from Nicole. These are people who work very hard to bring up the name Packard. Thank you for being here. But every table has done something to promote Packard. We're not here to do anything, but we want to share with you the fact that we are growing. You have other people who want to maybe say you're not or be a part of it, but I will tell you, thank you. Fred, Ray, thank you. Edmund Thompson brought his whole family here. They could be doing 100 other things tonight. Edmund, if you'd raise your hand. I mean, Edmund, Judy, in the back corner you have Gary and Patty Whitener. I mean, I haven't seen him, but he's building a boat in Washington. He could be doing other things. But I do want to drop you with one thing before we get involved with the actual show. Your centerpieces require you sign and actually buy those centerpieces, because the money that you make will ultimately go to Marianne or the Packard Museum. I can't have you do anything more than fill it out, put an amount there, and don't have crocodile arms. And I've seen those. I've been out with those kind of people, you know, and you can't seem to get there. So what they're there for, and I graciously, Karen Halsman and Candace, who are on our board, have created this display. So honor them, honor the Packard Museum. Basically, you know, look at them while where Tom is doing his magical job in this trophy presentation. Fred Schrader, thank you for being here tonight. Again, I know you traveled from a long ways to be here. But these posters, they tell a story of who we are. These posters, and Marianne will touch base a little bit on these posters. I did have one gentleman come up to me, Marianne, and said, I want to buy that 42 Packard poster, and I want the money to go to the museum. And he says, I want to buy it for Neil Torrance. So, Neil, you have a fan out there. So, in any event, Marianne will touch a little bit, if I may. Did you want to do that now? And, I mean, we could, and then we'll start wherever Tom is, the program. So, Marianne, if we could hit the last and the best part of this, and then we'll get into your trophies. And
so when he called me and asked me if I would be a part of this next portion of what we're going to do, I was kind of speechless. And in the back of my head, I'm thinking, why me? But then I thought, why not? Because it fits so perfectly. As I mentioned, these pictures around the perimeter, they're not just pictures of the cover of your magazine. They represent milestones in your club's history. Very much like the milestones that the museum has. They tell a time period. They give you a snapshot of a place in time. You see the man from the Emmys, he visits your club. And as you go, you can tell what happened here. From the 1899 Packard that you supported to all these various things. When you helped pay for the container for that car to go to Paris. When you had a car in the Rose Bowl. You have honored people through the covers of your magazine. And there's a certain individual here who has been a part of this for probably a quarter of a century, maybe more. And I know there's two gentlemen in the room who've been here from the very beginning, and you also deserve accolades. But I want you to look at these pictures, and I want you to reflect, those of you who have been in the club for quite some time. Just think about where you've come from and how you've advanced, and the fact that your magazine has grown and expanded, kind of like the Wizard of Oz. You know, you're going along and you go one foot in front of the other and everything's black and white, and then all of a sudden you go over this one chapter and it's in Technicolor, you know, and that's what you're done as a club. And this gentleman has led the charge. This gentleman has been front and center. He's watched, he's helped, he's a very thoughtful person. In fact, right at this moment, he's rubbing his chin thinking, where is she going with this thing? Don Hall. Don Hall has been your leader. He stayed the course. He's had a steady vision for where this club needed to go. He's had the courage, and that's really what it takes, the courage. Because it's not all fun and games, and it's not all roses. And you all know that because you've heard every time you make a change, there's always the people out there that don't want change because nobody likes that. It's not comfortable at all. But then there's the rest that know you must. It's a necessary evil. Change is a necessary evil, and you've embraced it. And I think I've already driven that message home. But I really want you to look at these milestones and keep in mind that it took people. It took a lot of you in the room. There are some veterans of this club, and you've been here in rain and not snow, of course, but a lot of other things. You've stayed the course when you could have been doing anything else. I know Robert could be doing anything else. He could be buying drinks for somebody up at the bar right now, but he's not. He's right here. This morning he could have been sleeping in or walking the dog or something, but he wasn't. He was here. And all of the rest of you, I thought I was going to have a quiet walk this morning, but when we came around the bend and there was a whole group of people down here, I realized, man, this is just like the museum. It takes an army to run this, and all of you are part of that army. But it takes a leader to make sense out of it, and Don has been your fearless leader. So the board in the club has decided, Don, if you would come up here, there are a couple things I want to give you. This is, see, this is the kind of man Don is. He reluctantly takes the accolades, but you know what? Suck it up. You deserve this. You do deserve this. This award says exceptional recognition. This is your Lifetime Achievement Award, basically, Don. Thank you for keeping the Packard vision alive. Don Hall, 55th Annual Membership Meet, February 10th, 2018, Newport Beach, California. Ask the man who owns one. And this is from your club.
Right now.
There's one more thing. There's one more thing. They have also created this beautiful medallion for you. It is the cormorant or swan or pelican, whatever side of the fence you are on there, and I've had those conversations with diamonds. So it really hurt to take this out of the box and give it away, but I'm going to do it anyway. So I'm going to put this microphone down for a second. You're getting a pin on. Kathy, I'm sorry, but I'm pinning your husband. Doesn't mean what it did one time. You can get it off of him later.
All right.
On behalf of all of us in the region, we are
Township.
Aaron said that he talked to Nicole and she wouldn't let him tell a joke. I talked to Nicole, but she didn't tell me not to tell a joke.
Okay.
And I never mention any member of the club who has a problem or has an event. But this Midwest member was going to a car show a couple of states away, so it was a long trip. And it was going to take a number of days to get there. And they were a little bit behind, so the first day, they put on a lot of miles. And they were getting very tired. They said, we better stop and take a rest because this is going to be a tough trip. So I stopped at this hotel, stayed there for about 6-7 hours just to get a good night's sleep, and woke up the next morning to come down to see the manager to pay the bill. Well, I checked in with the manager gives him the bill, and the guy looks at it and he says, $350? We stayed here 7-8 hours, and why is it so expensive? He says, well, you stopped at a real nice hotel. We have an Olympic swimming pool. We have a tennis court. We have beautiful restaurants. We have all these wonderful things. It's just too bad that you didn't take advantage of it being here such a short time. So the guy's still arguing with the manager. The wife says, honey, I'll give him a check. So she writes the check, gives him the check. Manager looks at it and says, wait a minute, I told you it was $350. This check is only for $50. What about the other $300? And she said, well, you slept with me all last night, didn't you? He said, I did not. She said, well, the opportunity was there, you just didn't take advantage of it. First of all, I want to thank all the judges. We had some real new judges, and they learned very well, very well. We had some both male and female judges, and they did a tremendous amount of work, and they learned a lot. I learned a lot. A lot of it means I'm going to hire them next year. So that'll work out good. I think we've seen today one of the most fabulous collections of Packards ever. We judged 24 cars, and of those 24 cars, 20 received the Circle of Champions, which is 222 points out of 250. Now that is amazing. Now 222 points is like, if you remember, the maximum score is 250. So you probably remember when you were in high school, if you ever did a test and you got 90%, man, you had made it, okay? The teacher said, oh, you're good, you got 90%. Well, 90% of 250 is about 222. So anybody that gets 222 points is in the Circle of Champions, and as Fred Mark used to say, you have arrived. So most of the cars that you saw out there were all 222 points or more. Many, many points more than that. So you saw a great collection of cars today, and I'll tell you about how some of the scoring was, so you won't believe what actually happened out there. The judges did a fabulous job, and we're going to give out some of the prizes right now. And assisting me will be Candace and our pretty famous Mr. Packard man, and here he comes up here now. He's running up here today. He's running up here. And I figured that Candace will give out the trophies, and our famous Packard master will pick out the trophies to give. That's Mr. Johnson, by the way. You all know Mr. Johnson. Okay. So again, going back to the Circle of Champions, that is a feather in your cap of your Circle of Champions. We give out a little, what do you call these, Jay? A pin. Oh, okay, we give out a 222 pin. So all those members, and actually I'll recite the members who got to 222 points. And if you would stand up, we will have Vanna White pass out these pins, and hopefully we'll have enough. If we don't have enough,